Welcome everyone to the very first episode of Overcoming Obstacles in 2025, Shaping a Stronger You for 2026. So many of us has been through so many struggles in 2025. We have been through loss, delays, and even moments where we question if we have the strength to keep going. But what if I told you the obstacles that you face in 2025 are the same things God is using to shape a stronger version of you for 2026? And today I want to show you that through this story of Ruth. And this story of Ruth is basically showing us a woman who has been through loss, uncertainty, and hardship, but that did not end her story. No, it did not. But it prepared her for what to come next. Yes. So, before I get started, I want to welcome you all to ebznchad zone, and I'll be hosting this episode, which is episode 1, and I am Chad, or you can call me Chardonnay. Yes. So this video is, yes, a bit different from our usual posts, but I wanted to do this video to take a moment basically to pause and reflect and really see how God uses difficult season to shape us into a stronger version of ourselves. In the next few minutes, we will explore Ruth's story, and her story is a story about loss, faith, and discovery, and how the obstacles that she faced actually prepare her for the next season. So stick around to see what's coming up in this video. A few disclaimer: I do have my laptop below me, my laptop with a few notes. So if you see me looking down sometime, yes, I am looking on my notes, because I do sometimes when I'm having fun and when I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, stuff like that, I will just blabber and talk a lot of stuff, but I want to ensure that I stay on point. So I make sure I write my notes and I'm prepared. All right, so let's get into the video. Let's go. All right, so we're gonna be transitioning into Ruth's story, and I want to start from the beginning. I want to start from listen, don't mind my patois, don't mind my English. I want to start from the beginning so that we can fully understand Ruth's story. So Naomi was married to Elimelech. I'm going to put the name on the screen. Not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Naomi was married to Elimelech. All right, and they had 2 sons, right? And later on, Elimelech died, and Naomi 2 sons, they went on and they got themselves some wives. Yes, they got themselves wives. So one was married to Oprah. I'm not sure if that is how it's pronounced. Horpah. And then one was married to Ruth. And they all lived for 10 years. Let's say they were married for 10 years. And then during that time, when Ruth was married, she did not bear any child. And then Naomi 2 sons died. So now Naomi was left with no husband. Yes, no husband and no sons. And she did have her 2 daughter-in-laws. Yes, she did. But at this point, Naomi, she decided that she's going to return to her homeland, the land of Judah. And both her daughter-in-law, they insist on coming with her. She did talk them down, and Oprah said, all right, she's just going to stay in her land. But Ruth, she insists that she want to go. And Ruth, she made a very powerful decision. Ruth said to Naomi, where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Remember, this is just their mother-in-law. That's a very powerful decision. Yes, so they did journey to land of Judah. However, I want to pause there for a moment, because before the blessings, before the breakthrough, I want us to look on the obstacles. So the first obstacle that Ruth faced, that many person they overlooked, and Ruth Story is a very popular Bible story. A lot of person know Ruth Story. But when persons are talking about Ruth Story, I notice that they talk about some other stuff, but they don't talk about this. Ruth being married without a child. Remember, she has been married for 10 years before her husband died. So 10 years, no child. And many of us, we will find that as an obstacle, right? In nowadays society, they will call you a barren. They will describe you in so many ways that will break your confidence, discourage you, and it will also have you question your worth as a wife, that you have been married for 10 years and no child. So yes, that is the first obstacle that Ruth faced, and it is being married without a child. Yes. And as I mentioned, it is an obstacle that many persons overlooked, but it is indeed an obstacle that Ruth did face. The second obstacle that Ruth faces was the loss of her husband. So Ruth been married, no child, married for 10 years, then she lost her husband. That is a big obstacle, I should say. Because being married for 10 years, you have created an emotional connection with that person. And 10 years is a long time. It's a very long time. So Ruth did not only lose her husband, but she lost that emotional connection, that social connection, and she's lost financial support. And that is Ruth Story. Yes. So the third obstacle that Ruth faces is the displacement. So she decided to travel to the land of Judah with Naomi. Yes, it was her decision to go. However, she still is being displaced, even though it was her decision. So in her hometown, in her homeland, she's familiar with that environment. The culture she's familiar with that, and she has some form of security in her homeland. So she going to the land of Judah. Basically, she's going to become a stranger in that land. So displacement, third obstacle. And then we're going on to the fourth obstacle, which is the uncertainty. So let's look at this. Let's say you live in Kingston, yes, and you decided, all right, no, Kingston is not working out for you for whatever reason, and you believe that going to a different parish is the best choice, and you decided to do that. You go into that new parish, or let's say a new state. If you're living in America, you live in New York, and you say, okay, I'm going to go to Texas. Yes, going to a new place, sometimes you don't set a clear plan. There is no promise of provision. You're not sure if you will be comfortable. There's so much uncertainty. So in Ruth's story, that's the same thing. She decided to go to the land of she decided to go to the land of Judah with Naomi, and she had no clear plan. There was no promise that there will be provision. There was no promise that there will be comfort. She just went with faith. And at this point, Ruth is a widow and she is childless. She's displaced. She's living with uncertainty, and that alone is heavy. But Ruth's story doesn't stop there. All right, so let's continue Ruth's stories, because we did pause to talk about the obstacles. So now we're going to continue the story. Naomi and Ruth, they arrive in the land of Judah. And you may think, yes, they arrive in the land of Judah. Things must be turning around for them. Things must be looking up. Even though in that time, or maybe in their mind, they have made the right decision. But life suddenly never become easier for them. Life did not become easier for Ruth. It did not. But let's say, this is a food for thought, guys. This is a food for thought. Sometimes obedience does not come with instant blessing. Let me repeat. Sometimes obedience does not always come with instant blessing. Got that? Yes. So yeah, it wasn't instant blessing for Ruth now that she's in the land of Judah. No, Ruth had to work. She had to find work, because we're the one that get food for eat and all him. Somebody should have to find work, and she did find work. But she found the only work that was available for her, and that was her working in the fields. Yes, Ruth was in the field. She was picking wheat. She's doing the work. And yes, that type of work was only meant for person that are poor, person that are widow, and person that are foreigners. And Ruth, she did check off all those boxes. She was all three of them. She was poor, she was a widow, and she was a foreigner, and that was the only work available for her. And she took the work and she did the work. So Ruth is now in a new season. She is in the land of Judah. So guess what? New season, new obstacles. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? New season and now new obstacles. Must be something difficult. In this new season that Ruth is in, we're going to discuss now the new obstacle, and the fifth one we're going to be continuing. The fifth obstacle is poverty. Yes, poverty. Ruth wasn't living in abundance, and she was just working to survive. And some of us, we are familiar with this type of season where you're praying and you're trying, but nothing seems to be happening. And at this point now, you start to question God, because you're saying you're still struggling. You've listened to God, you follow, but you're still here. Nothing is happening. That is a season that Ruth was in. I'm not saying that Ruth was questioning God. No, she's not. But I'm saying that I'm putting everything so that we can understand where this season is for Ruth. She's in a season of poverty. That was her obstacle. Yes, and the next obstacle that Ruth faces now is obstacle 6, which is being overlooked. And this obstacle is that now she is a foreign woman in the field. She's working. She has no status. She has no protection, and there's no guarantee that anyone will actually notice her effort that she's putting on in the field. this is a season where you will feel invisible, where you're working hard, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but nothing seems to be happening. This, yes, yes. And if you've read Ruth's story, it's not a case where she was questioning her ability or anything like that. She was still putting in the work. But as I'm saying, I'm putting this in human perspective so that we can, relate to the story, so that we can understand that, listen, this obstacle that Ruth is facing, you basically think more into it. It is something that we also can relate to, something that we're definitely going through if we actually zoom in our story. And then now let's move on to the seventh obstacle, which is the delay favor. Yes, so this part of the story is where it seems boring and nothing dramatic really happens at this point in the story. So basically, Ruth is in a routine. She wakes up, she go to work, she come back tired, she repeats day after day, day after day, day after day. There is no miracles. There is no big announcement. There is no sudden breakthrough. Just faithful obedience in silence. And let's be honest, this is where many person will quit. The delay favor is where many person will quit, because you've been working so hard. You have been overcoming obstacles over obstacles over obstacles, and nothing still not. Persons will just give up at this point. But Ruth, she did not. She did not. She still have faith. Take an example from Ruth and still have faith. All right, so that is the last obstacle that I will be mentioning. Let me tell you, there's a lot of obstacles, but I don't want to fill the episode with too much obstacles and stuff like that. Let's move on from that. All right, okay, so what I be speaking about now is when it look like God isn't blessing you. You hear that part? When it looks like God isn't blessing you. So we finished with the obstacle now, so let's go back to Ruth's story. So at this point now, Ruth's life doesn't look blessed. She lost her husband, she has no children, she is poor, she's a foreigner, and she's working in the field. From the outside, someone will be looking in and they might be saying, things not look good for Ruth at all, no sir. Life not look good pan for your side. She a butter. And in standard English, we will say God has forgotten her. But what I want you all to remember, or what I want you guys to focus on, is that this season is not a punishment season. You are in the season of preparation. Because remember, the team is overcoming obstacles in 2025, shaping a stronger you for 2026. So this is your preparation season. It's no punishment. So even though it's not looking like God is blessing you at this time, you are not being punished. You are being prepared. And while he's preparing you, I want to also take from a Bible verse that says, for God knows a plan for you, plans to prosper you. So even though you might be wondering what is going on, remember God has a plan for you, and his plan is to prosper you. Yes. And All right, so let's go back to Ruth's story now. So what? And this is the part that Ruth didn't know. Ruth didn't know that the field that she choose to work in will place her directly in the path of Boaz. Boaz is Ruth's redeemer, and she didn't know that at the time, that Boaz is a redeemer. And she didn't know that her consistency was being watched, because Ruth, remember, so remember Ruth is a foreigner, and she was so determined to provide for she and Naomi. So she was working really hard in the field, and she was being so consistent. And remember, she thought that, one obstacle that she was faced was being overlooked, but she did not know that she was being watched. So remember, let's pause now and reflect. So let's pause now and take a deeper look into the story. So remember, Ruth was working, and she was being overlooked. But that is what she thought, and that was an obstacle that we saw. However, we and Ruth didn't, or let's not say we, but Ruth, she did not know that she was being watched. So sometimes we are saying, oh, we're working so hard and nobody is paying us any mind, we're being overlooked, we're not getting the blessing. You don't know the plans that God has for you, and you don't know who is watching you. So don't give up, continue working. Yes. And what Ruth didn't know also was that her humility was building her a reputation, and she didn't know that God was aligning her steps, and Ruth was just being faithful with what she had. So you see, she didn't know a lot of stuff, right? But God was aligning her step, and she was being faithful to what she had. She wasn't complaining like, oh my God, this is just a few dollar. No, she was being faithful, and she had humility. So we need to take some of this from Ruth's story. Still have faith, still have humility, still be consistent, because even though we might feel like we're being overlooked, we don't know who is watching, and also we don't know God's plan, and we don't know what He's doing. I'm gonna stop there for now, but I want us to basically do a reflection, go back to 2025, but we're not going to stay there. We're just going to reflect, because we don't want to be staying in the past. In 2025, you are doing the right things, but you're not seeing no result. You feel overlooked, you feel delay, you feel like 2025 drained you. Like, hey, in 2025, every minute I'm like, oh, today drained me. Oh, today drained me. I sing that so much. And yes, we will feel drained. We're humans. Yes, we will. But guess what? You might be in your feel season. You get it? All right. Let's put a name to it. You might be in your root in the field season, meaning that you're in the field, you're grinding, you're working, you're picking your weeds, you're doing everything. You're in the field, you're working. That is the season that you're in. You're in the hard work season, the field, hot sun season. Yes, you're in that season, and it's quiet, it's exhausting, and it doesn't feel rewarding. But what I want you to know is that God works quietly before He works publicly. Let me say that again. So we're reflecting on 2025, and we feel like it's quiet, nothing is happening, it is exhausting. But what you don't know is, or sometimes we don't even think about, is that God, He works quietly before He works publicly. Yes. So Ruth didn't know that the field she was struggling was the doorway for restoration. So I will stop there for today, and in the next episode we will look at how God turned obedience into favor and how Ruth's preparation led to redemption and restoration. Because sometimes what feels like delay is actually divine alignment. So we will look at that in episode 2. If this episode speaks to you, or if you know someone that this episode will speak to, guess what? Check out episode 2 when it will be posted. Yes, so stay tuned for episode 2 where we will, put things into perspective. You will see everything into perspective. Yes. So the story isn't over yet. This is not the end. This is not the end. Things is going to be looking up in episode 2, and that is where we will be seeing the shaping in 2026. So we talk about the struggles of 2025 in episode 1. So now we'll be talking about the shaping and all of that good stuff in episode 2. Yes. So what I would like for you all to do is share this message. Share the message. Share this video. Share this video to your loved ones, your friends, family, brother, sister, everybody. Share the video so that they can, understand the season that they're in. Because we don't want anyone to quit in their season where they feel like there is delay. We want to encourage them to keep going on, keep moving forward. Don't stop there, because things is going to look up. You are going to be in your restoration season next. You're going to be in your redeeming season next, and I don't want people to give up. So share this video to someone that you know that has a lot of obstacles in their life, and you want to encourage them to keep going on. Share this video to them. And if you definitely like this video, give us a big thumbs up, and then comment down below something that you've learned in the video, something that you are grateful to hear. And if you don't want to share, just put some prayer emoji, like the ant class emoji, like this, in the comment section, so that I know that you reached this far in the video. Yes, and I'll be closing the video at this point. So thank you so much for watching this episode, and I will see you in the final episode. All right, bye. Thank you for watching. Me and my people be rolling.